It's time for Grizz Beat, a full-court press of highlights, insights, and debate around the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Tune in each week on the latest conversations with regional and national insiders locked in on the Grizzlies. Running point from Grind City Media Studios, our host, Jason Smith.
Welcome to Grizz Beat. I am your host, Jason Smith of 92.9 FM ESPN. Grateful to be here. I'll tell you what, be grateful for a win tonight. We got another game day edition of the show on this Wednesday, and the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant are in town. We got a lot to talk about. A lot has transpired over the past week since we last spoke. Make sure you're keeping it locked weekly, keeping your notifications set. For Grizz Beat, 3 p.m., we'll have all the latest intel, exclusive interviews, definitive opinions, and we'll do it each week with our expert panel. Speaking of that panel, let me introduce him. I can tell you like my smoothness there. Michael Wallace is really enjoying how smooth I can be when I get on a roll. Not smoother than this man, though. Jarvis Greer has been doing it in Memphis for a long time. A Memphis Sports Hall of Famer and longtime former WMC TV Channel 5 sports director. Jarvis Greer, I'm going to need your positivity today, brother.
Oh, man, come on. You can have it. You can hang with it. It's all right. And I got the memo about the Grizz Beat. You know, I matched the logo today.
There you go.
Come in with the gold and the black.
Man, you look absolutely fantastic,
I don't know, the double
brother.
breast looking good, though, bro.
Well, thank you. I didn't. You know what?
Did
This
you go to
is
Burt's
an
for
old
that?
one.
You went to Burt's, right?
This is a Burt's. This is a Burt's. You have nailed it there. Michael Wallace is
Sammy's.
the hardest working man at Grind City Media. He is the guru, senior editor, contributor, and analyst for Grind City Media. He's in all black today. Look like business, Michael.
Hey, it's about business. It's about getting that thing done. I'm standing on business, and this
Okay.
show is about to stand on business as well.
There you go. It's time to do it. And via Zoom, Stephanie Reddy joins us as our national NBA contributor.
Well,
Having
look at
covered
that.
the NBA for 2 decades, we
Look at
love the
that
look.
background.
Look at the logo. Stephanie, we got enough to discuss this week or what?
Oh, we have plenty. I can't wait.
No question about it. That's our panel for this week's show. We've got the great CJ Hurt behind the glass, keeping us on time and in line. And we thank the hardworking team we've got here on Grizz Beat at Grind City Media. Now to our starting five. It's where we'll start every Wednesday. The top 5 storylines surrounding the Memphis Grizzlies, who, as we said, will be looking to snap now a 3-game losing streak tonight against the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant. Michael was at shoot-around. Michael, what's the latest? The vibe, it feels like, different than when we talked last Wednesday?
Well, you want to get to games as quickly as possible. I think the off days can be miserable when you're not winning, right? As you said, the Grizzlies are in the 3-game losing streak right now. The Houston Rockets come in on a 4-game winning streak. They dropped their first 2 games. They've won their last 4 by a combined average of 20-plus points per game. So they're smoking right now. They have their health, relatively speaking, outside of Fred VanVleet at the point guard position. And the message coming out of the Grizzlies shoot-around this morning was that these guys need to have an all-hands-on-deck approach. Everybody has to be willing to step up and do their part. You see the encouraging sign right there. Big Zach Edey is behind Ja Morant. We're going to be talking about those two on the court soon, but not tonight, and maybe not Friday night either. But the Grizzlies went to work today. They know that they're going to have to rebound and control the glass. They're going to have to limit the turnovers. They can't give Houston opportunities to score repeatedly off of offensive rebounding and in transition. That's what Houston does well. They're top 5 in the league in rebounding, scoring, and scoring defense. So the Grizzlies are going to have their hands full, but they're up to the task. And I sat down earlier today with Vince Williams Jr. at shoot-around during our Grizz shoot-around sit-down, and he talked about the mindset the Grizzlies need to have going into tonight's game, the toughness that they need to show, as well as what they need from the fan base to support them through this tough homestand. Take a listen. It's the Grizz shoot-around sit-down here at FedEx Forum ahead of Wednesday night's game between the Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets. The Grizzlies are in the midst of a 4-game homestand. Every game is crucial. I'm joined by Vince Williams Jr. Vince, first and foremost, man, it's a belated welcome back, but you're about a week or so into your game action and things of that nature coming off of that heel issue. Just how are you feeling physically, and what has this last week been like for you?
I'm decent. A lot been going on this last week. Just trying to work hard, do my job, help my teammates out the best I can right now.
When you talk about coming in and helping your teammates out, it's playing every position on the perimeter. Small forward, shooting guard, and now de facto point guard. What has that transition been like for you? You've done it before, but it's almost like you turn back the page to a couple of seasons ago doing a little bit of everything?
It feels good, have the ball in your hands. It shows that the coaching staff trusts you, but at the same time, my teammates do. I feel like I can get my teammates involved get some easy shots how Ja does. So just try to stay on top of my game and figure some stuff out with my shooting right now.
Yeah. But you're not alone in that. It's
Yeah.
like the shooting is going on for everybody. But we know, just stick with it. You trust the routine. You trust the work you put in. I wanted to ask you about just, obviously you guys are still going through some growing pains, obviously, with the system, with the injuries, guys coming out in and out of the lineup. How important is it to stay mentally strong and connected right now, all the way through the roster?
It's major. Just because we're not even 10 games in yet. You see some frustration going on, but at the same time, we all love each other. We figure something out. Might have a bad game, but just don't make it trickle down to everybody else. But just keep your head down. You got plenty of opportunities to do other stuff on the court besides just score the ball. So just try to affect the game as best as you possibly can.
Absolutely, and this schedule doesn't get any easier. It's never easy in the NBA. But right now, you guys have the Rockets, and then obviously the homestand continues Friday against Dallas, Sunday against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. How important is it for not only you guys to show up and do what you guys do, but also this fan base to continue to rally around this team, show that patience, and know that you guys are going to work through this?
Oh, we just got to go out there and perform, play hard. That's one thing I feel like the fans want us to do: play hard, compete, do all the dirty things, and try to come out and be successful. Honestly, then stay together. Show some passionate sides of everybody and work hard.
All right, that's it. For Vince Williams Jr., I'm Michael Wallace. Keep it locked on all of our Grizzlies game night coverage.
I've loved the activity level we've seen from Vince Williams since he's gotten back. Hopefully that shot's going to drop. Michael, you playing shooting coach during shoot around as well. Another one of his duties around here as the James Brown
Former
of
Grambling
Grind
State
City
Tiger.
Media, apparently.
Point
Stephanie,
guard for the ages.
Stephanie, you've got question number 2 for us.
Aged.
What's the national perception of Ja and the Grizzlies right now?
The national perception is what just happened. It is shock that we are where we are this early in the season. I've been on this show before with you guys, and earlier preseason, first week, we were so excited at the promise of what this Grizzlies team could be in terms of being an actual contender, where they would fall in that playoff ranking as the season winded down. How healthy would they be? Things started off great. Everyone was optimistic. They thought, hey, we're probably going to see a contract extension with Ja before the deadline that hit initially in October. That came and went, right, with no deal. Then we thought, okay, this is awesome. You're going to see Ja and Jaren starting healthy to start this season. That's terrific. They won the first game. Hip, hip, hooray. And then they started alternating wins and losses. Not too alarming, right? It's just a few games. But then the bottom fell out with the 1-game suspension. And it's really not the game that he was suspended. It's the reason why he was suspended and how it has had the ripple effect on this team. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Ja handles it moving forward and how his teammates can continue to, if they can, stay positive and kind of just, wrap their arms around him and make him feel loved and wanted, and they can all rally together, band together to try to turn this thing around. It's still very early, so that is the good news.
No, Stephenson is just so right. I mean, it was this time last week, and at halftime, you're in control. That Lakers game, you're 3-2 at that point, and it just felt like everything changed right there at half, and obviously with what transpired afterwards. This question's for the entire panel. Michael just showed us. Now that Zach Edey appears close to a return from the offseason ankle surgery, what are realistic expectations for Edey when he returns? It is still just year 2. Jarvis, start us off.
Well, I would say you got to be cautious with him at the beginning here because he's coming off ankle surgery. It's not like, oh, we're just going to go in and fix this little. No, it was ankle surgery, and it was the same ankle he hurt in summer league, his rookie season, before his rookie season, and again during that rookie season a little bit later in the year. You got to fix that thing and make sure it's right and make sure he's okay moving around. It may take a little while for him to get back. And he's a big dude now. What is he, 355 pounds?
No, not that big.
What is he, 300?
He's yeah, right there.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking football. But 7'4", 308, and he's it's a lot to move around on a wheel that is a little gimpy right now.
At the pace the Grizzlies want to play.
And at the pace the Grizzlies want to play. So I think you got to give him a little chance to, get himself acclimated and get going, and then we'll see how he goes going forward.
Michael, what's key for you in terms of expectations for Zach?
No, I think Jarvis hit the nail on the head right there. He's a big guy. The conditioning is going to be key for me. Conditioning at a high level. He has to come in when he's right, not ramping up on his way in. He can't just figure his way out once he gets out there, because the way that these Grizzlies want to play, they want to get up and down. They want to get in transition. They desperately need his rebounding and his rim protection, but he can't get out there until his conditioning is at an NBA peak level.
Yep. Stephanie, what say you on expectations for Zach?
I was very specific because, hey, I'm new to this show. So when I was told what the question was, I thought you guys wanted to know exactly what the expectations will be. So I'm going to stand on this. Yeah. When I looked back at his previous year and you see what he did in terms of minutes played of the entire season, he only played more than 30 minutes 4 times. And that's not coming off of ankle surgery. So I'm not expecting him to play more than 15 minutes coming back. And that goes to what you were saying, Michael, about his conditioning needs to be peak. And then his productivity in terms of points and rebounds, I think it's going to be about half of what he averaged last year, just because he's coming back. I think his offense will flow a lot better. I think 7 points is kind of what you can expect to get from him, because if Ja and Jaren are clicking on all cylinders, then it'll be really easy for Zach to get some easy buckets down low.
Yep. Jarvis, next question's for you. Advice, you're Mr. Positivity, if it calls for, to Grizzlies fans feeling maybe uneasy about this 3-5 start of the situation with Ja. What would you tell them?
That's what they always say about the NBA. It is a marathon, not a sprint. This is 82-game season, man. It's a long, long season. I've seen teams come out, and I've been following the NBA since the 60s, okay? And I've seen teams come out with 4 guys, 5 guys hurt, or 2 stars hurt, and they're like 3-5, 3-10 at the start of the season. Then here comes January, and all of a sudden everybody gets healthy. Uh-oh, here they come. They may not be at the top of the standings when it comes playoff time, but they are whole and intact and ready to make a run. Yep. So that's what you got to think about for this Grizzlies team. It's the long haul. You can't think about the short haul. It's the long haul that's going to make the difference. And if you can hang in there for the long haul, if you don't lose your mind and say, oh, we're going to be terrible, 3-15 or 5-12 or something other like that. 5-12 is not that bad at the start of the year when you got this many guys out. It's a tough stretch of the season now, and we could see some big bumps. But going forward, when you start getting the troops, the reinforcements start coming back in, and you start seeing the Grizzlies start to make a move, and you do what you've been trying to practice on, you got everybody together, you're hitting on all cylinders.
Jarvis preaching patience, and I think rightfully so. You've still got some key pieces out. We've talked about Zach Edey. Our final question is for the group. The Grizzlies will beat the Rockets tonight. If this goes their way, Michael, we'll start it with you. You're trying to stop a 4-game winning streak, as you said.
You got to win the rebounding battle, and that means you have to. This is the biggest team in the NBA, the Houston Rockets, right? They start 3 7-footers, and then, oh, by the way, their backcourt is 6'11" and 6'7". So when you think about that, it's length, it's physicality. You have to be able to eliminate their second chance points, which means keep them off the offensive boards. So you got to defensively rebound. And you also have to be able to create second chance opportunities yourself when you're missing. Right now, the Grizzlies aren't shooting well from three-point range at all. Those long rebounds, those 50-50 balls got to go your way. So the Grizzlies have to dominate the boards, or at least win the rebounding battle, even if it's by 1 rebound. I think that gives them a chance to be in this game.
And a quick follow-up, the last game on the 10-day for Charles Bassey, who did help you in that department against Detroit?
No, he still has, I think he has a couple more games.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he has a couple more games.
Was extremely useful in that Detroit game.
He gets 6 games from the day he signed. So Golden State was the first game. So count 6 games from Golden State. And I think that carries him through maybe Friday, if not Sunday.
Real quick, if he gets signed to another 10-day, does that mean that Edey is coming along slower than expected, or is that just the way that works?
No, not necessarily, because not only do you have Edey, you have Brandon Clark and Scottie Pippen. So you have 3 guys that are going to be further out than what you need. So the Grizzlies are +1 in terms of the guys that they need to continue to qualify.
You look at that scoreboard.
It's not a great stat. You don't want that stat. You don't want to have multiple guys extended absences, but they need 3 guys down in order to continue to qualify for that exception.
Stephanie, back to you. In terms of beating the Rockets tonight and ending this 3-game slide for the Grizzlies, what's got to go their way?
John Morant has to want to be there. I'm really careful in the words I choose when I talk about the way people perform and what they want and what they think, because we're not in his head. But he has to look like he wants to be there. The body language has to be positive. He has to be giving everything that he always does, every play, not watching his teammates play, but completely engaged. If he is not there, in a sense, like he is participating and actively so, they don't stand a chance. And that is not just for this game against Houston. It is for the rest of the season. So Ja Morant needs to be engaged and playing as if he wants to be there with his teammates.
I couldn't agree more. Jarvis, what you got on it?
I'm going to go one further on you, Stephanie. I'm going to say Ja and Jaren need to be Ja and Jaren. The Ja and Jaren that we know.
Both of them.
Ja needs to be like 26, 7, and 8, 26.7 rebounds, 8 assists. Jaren needs to be like 23, 5, and 5 blocks. He's not going to get a bunch of boards, but if he gets 5 blocks and he gets you 23 points and the rest of the guys that are open hit shots, I think the Grizzlies have a good chance at that.
Yep, there's no doubt Jaren is still trying to find himself, particularly his
remember
offense.
Now, he's still coming off that toe surgery.
Offense. No question.
And I think that he's looked kind of a step slow. You know, when you have surgery like that, you plant and you try. What is it? What did he have? Turf toe, right? You plant and you try to take off. Man, that's difficult. I've had that thing myself, and that's a booger bear, and it can last a while, and it may take him a while to get used to himself again.
Got to see it. Got to see it. Now on to our 24-second shot clock validation, where each of our panelists has 24 seconds before that horn sounds to make his or her best case on a topic. We're going to do it a little bit different this week. We're going to do some role play, as the four of us will play the roles of Ja Morant, GM Zach Kleiman, head coach Tomas Isolo, and Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Michael Wallace, you're the guru. You're going to start us off as Ja Morant. What should Ja's message to the fan base be?
It starts with this. We always know. Call 12. Y'all been calling 12 for 7 years since I've been here. You can call on me right now. I know what it takes to get this team to where it needs to be. I need your help. I need your support now more than ever before. Trust me. Call 12 and trust me. That's what you need to do. We're going to get through this. At the end of the day, I want to win. Isolo wants to win, and these guys want to win. Call 12, but trust me.
Whoa, hit it right on the
Very well
nose.
done as Ja Morant. Put him in the black, and he's Ja Morant.
That shot was in the air when the buzzer went off. I hear you, buddy.
All right, Stephanie, we're going to put you on the clock 24 seconds. You're going to handle the role of Zach Kleiman. What should Zach's message be to the fan base?
We believe in what we have assembled here. We believe in Ja Morant. We believe in Jaren Jackson Jr. We know that these two are high caliber, all-star caliber type of players. Once everyone gets healthy, we believe in all the pieces that we've assembled, the new additions. Everyone should not be panicking. We will figure this out, and we're standing behind our players. We believe in them and what we can do.
Well done. Very well done there as Zach Kleiman. And I like the message and think it's the right one. Jarvis Greer, you are going to be head coach Tomas Isolo. What should Isolo's message be?
I do like Tomas, hit the clock. I say when you have highly compensated athletes who are like a Ferrari, high compression engine, can boom, 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 get out. And then they also have a very high will to win. Sometimes, there are situations that come up. You deal with them, you hit them in the head early. I'm glad this is happening right now so we can figure out what's going on. And once you get that figured out, hey, the reinforcements are coming on, we move.
Oh, my goodness. You guys are all vets. Well done, Jarvo. He is a Memphis sports. The man is a Memphis sports Hall of Famer for a reason. This is going to be my actual first time participating in 24-second shot clock validation. So go ahead and give me 24, and I'm going to be KCP. Here goes. First off, I'd like you to call me Kenny. Second off, listen, guys, I've been through a lot. I've been on some bad teams. I've been on some championship teams with the Lakers and Denver. And the key, whether it's for fans, whether it's for this Grizzlies team, is to always stay even keel. And that's what I've told Ja guys. Listen, I've talked to them. I've told them I've been around this league. Just simmer down. Everything cool and on the same page. We're good. That's my message from KCP.
Simmer down now.
He got to settle down. We're good. He got it in.
Call me Kenny, as I say. We're switching up the name. When we come back, I enjoyed that. I love the role play. We may have to bring that back. When we come back, we'll take a look at Michael's top 10 small forwards in NBA history in honor of future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant's appearance at FedEx Forum tonight. He's certainly going to be on that list. And we'll take a look and vote on the top dunk, dime, and defensive play from the past week in the NBA. All that and more when we return. Keep it locked. This is Grizz Beat on Grind City Media.
191 Collabs, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners, brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from Memphis designers. The next drop is the top-notch collection from proud Memphian Brandon Hobbs and his clothing brand M-Town Merch. The homage to Memphis culture, classic sportswear, and elevated street style is only available at the Grizzlies Den on Friday, November 7th when the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Get your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or visit the FedEx Forum box office.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites John Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Friday nights just got a whole lot better. Buckets and Brews is the ultimate way to tip off your weekend. Every Friday this season, grab a terrace-level ticket to the Grizz game and 2 12-ounce Miller Lights for just $55. The first night for great seats, cold brews, and Grizzlies basketball is Friday, November 7th against the Dallas Mavericks. Go to grizzlies.com/Friday to lock in your tickets to get today. Again, that's grizzlies.com/Friday to take advantage. Now, it's our weekly chance to go at the guru. I don't know about you guys, but I really like when these weeks stack up. Michael rolls out his list, and we get a chance to go at him. He's put together this list this week of the top 10 small forwards in NBA history, obviously with Kevin Durant in town tonight with the Rockets. Very curious to see where Durant is on Michael's list. Michael, I hand it over to you.
Hey, listen, I'm still bruised up from last week, man. I took some shots last week for my top 10 all-time Grizzlies. And let me first apologize because I left my guy Rudy Gay out of my top 10. That was a clear omission by mistake by my part. He would have definitely been number 5 or 6 on my list, so move everybody else down if you remember that list from last week. But on to tonight and today's list. Top 10 small forwards in NBA history. Now, I know we're in this positionless league right now where a lot of guys have played multiple positions, but this is according to their positions listed on NBA.com and their career pages, right? So let's get the list right now. Top 10 small forwards of all time, my favorite ones. Number 1, it starts with the L to the B to the J. LeBron James is the number 1 all-time small forward. In my book, I think it's not even close. Number 2, Larry Legend, Larry Bird. You see the list right there. Scottie Pippen, I think, will go down as one of the most underrated players in NBA history because of everything he did and meant on both ends of the floor. Kevin Durant, who will be in this building right here tonight to face the Memphis Grizzlies, is number 4 because of his scoring prowess. Best scorer we've ever seen in the NBA. Number 5, Paul Pierce. Dude did it on defense early in his career. He was offensively gifted. He can get his shot from anywhere, especially in that elbow range. Dominique Wilkins, human highlight film, ready to make a highlight at any point. Julius Erving, Dr. J, man. He was the first basketball player I fell in love with. He introduced me to the game as a little shorty. That was the first action figure. That was the first pair of shoes I had. That was the first person I ever saw do a dunk. Elgin Baylor, that's my daddy told me about Elgin Baylor. And he was a D.C. native, a homeboy of ours. So I'm going to go with Elgin Baylor right there. George Gervin, the Iceman, smoothest dude in the game. And then my guy, my personal favorite because of his perseverance and coming back from knee surgery to average 30 a game for my Washington Bullets after his days with the New York Knicks, Mr. Bernard King. That's my top 10, my top 10 favorite small forwards of all time. Get at me, dogs.
Very, very strong list. Know that when you come at the guru, you better come correct. Stephanie, we're going to give you first crack at it. You got any problems with Michael's top 10 small forwards in history?
You have to limit it to 10, right? Because if you want to add someone, you have to take someone out. I'll tell you the two people that I considered that maybe should have been in there. And I know it's your list, Michael, but just in general for small forwards, I thought Alex English. A lot of people overlook him because of I think his personality, right? He's like his demeanor. He's not just out and flashy and talking trash. So people forget about him. He was one of the greatest to ever do it. But the person who I think should have been on this list was Carmelo Anthony. He was a bucket. Like, I think we started using that phrase when it was Carmelo Anthony. Let's remember when he was a freshman at Syracuse, a freshman led a team to a national championship. Like, you're a bucket if you're doing that as a freshman. He was a little skinny thing too back then. But when you look at his career, Hall of Famer, as are these gentlemen you have on your list. And I will say Bernard King was the one I wanted to take off. And he also has a special place on my heart growing up watching the Washington team, because I remember when he came back and it was amazing. No one thought he could do what he did, right? But when you just look at just resume, Melo beats him out, right? Because yes, they're both Hall of Famers. Yes, they both can score a lot of points. But Melo did it for a longer period of time. He was in the league for 19 years. They averaged nearly the same amount of points, 22, 23 points. But then when you look at Melo was a 10-time All-Star and a 6-time All-NBA player, whereas Bernard King was 4-4. So that's the only thing. I think it's a great list, though, Michael. I got no shots to fire.
Hey, Stephanie, you just fired the shots, right? And I told you I took a beating last week in some ways. And those are some, you landed some blows. And here's why I got to give you the ultimate respect. Number one, because you softened and buttered me up with the Alice English reference. And that's a guy we just had here in Memphis 2 years ago. Right. We honored him for our humanitarian Martin Luther King honor, Earl Lloyd Legacy Award. He came here and received one of those awards, and I got a chance to spend an entire weekend with him. You're right, class, dignity personified. And he doesn't get the respect that he needs. So I was softened up with that. And then you hit me with the hook with Carmelo Anthony. I'll be happy to let you know Carmelo was number 11 on my list. And I had to work to put Bernard King up there, not because Bernard deserved it over Carmelo, but because I like Bernard more. And he was the first guy that I said, you know what? Jordan gave us 30. Bernard gave Jordan 34. You know what I'm saying? With those Bullets teams. So good one. You got me on that one.
Oh,
next. Who's next?
No, Stephanie, great case for Carmelo Anthony.
There you go.
No question about it. Jarvis, problems with the Guru's list?
You know, I have to say, I really like the list. I disagree with one, though. I think the doctor, Julius Erving, belongs above Dominique and above Paul Pierce. I think he should be up that high. I got to see the doctor play in the ABA, right, in person, when we had the old Memphis Sounds, Tams pros here in the Mid-South Coliseum. When the big fro blowing in the wind could jump for joy before the knee hurt, took an opening tip one night. They threw the oop to him, he slammed it down, air went out of the building, and he was down the other end of the court before the ball hit the floor, and he carried his All-ABA to the NBA and became All-NBA with the Philadelphia Sixers. My heart was broken when they lost to Lionel Hollins and Johnny Davis in the finals to Bill Walton and the Portland Trail, but the doctor was the first one with the big nickname, notwithstanding the Big E, Elgin Baylor and all them, but yeah, coming up, when I was in high school, going to see him play in person and then seeing him in the NBA, it just was amazing the things that he could do. He is the doctor, and the doctor belongs up higher than where he is. That's my only beef with that list.
Well, just like with Stephanie, I'm going to respect Jarvis, and I'm going to respect
he's coming back with something.
Anytime a man can drop, or anytime anyone can drop, would you say Julius Erving?
Yeah.
And seeing him in person.
Yes.
10 minutes after he just dropped, I watched I Love Lucy live when it was running.
that right?
Not in syndication, but live, right?
We've seen
So
it
you
all.
know this man knows what he's talking about. He dropped the I Love Lucy reference during the break, so you guys didn't hear that. I respect you saying move him up 2 spots ahead of Paul Pierce and Dominique Wilkins. Because if this list had been the 10 most important small forwards in NBA history, Doc would certainly be up there. Because we all cut our teeth on this game from Dr. J and Dr. J's
And he could
highlights.
go by one name. The Doctor.
Dr. J. And here's
That's it,
another
Dr.
reason.
J, that's it.
Most impressive thing of all the impressive things that he's ever done, when he had that documentary and he still dunked at age 60.
Yeah, man. Right.
When he went up and ended that documentary with
Dude,
dunking
cold.
at age
Dude,
60,
still cold,
I
man.
was like, oh my God, that's it. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm a milder, gentler M-Dub
okay.
right now, right? Michael Wallace is milder and gentler until the Grizzlies start getting
the
some
Guru
wins.
gonna hit us with
then I can
something.
get it back. What you got, Jay?
You know, I mean, I would just really build on the cases. I think Stephanie and Jarvis both made great points and touched on things that I would. Julius Erving, champion, right? And that puts him in a way over Dominique Wilkins. Dominique, great scorer, loved him. I grew up with him as well, and he flew. But Julius Erving was flying. If he doesn't fly, then Dominique Wilkins isn't doing it. It was Dr. J that changed it and made it an air game. You're talking about a champ, and if you add his ABA scoring, we're talking about a top 15, top 10 type score in league history. And so I'd have Dr. J there. And I think Stephanie made the best case, Michael. The only is that obviously you picked Bernard King for personal reasons. He certainly deserves to be on these kinds of lists. But Carmelo Anthony, first 16 of that 20 whatever year career it was, averaged 21 points per game, pure score. And as my man CJ Hurt said, until Kevin Durant came along, he was the best scoring small forward I'd ever seen. And so I would just add to what they said, but I think your list is fantastic. And you kind of let us on that Bernard King is sort of a personal choice for you.
Yeah. And that's all fair, guys. And that's all fair.
We understand.
And again,
Well done.
And that's the thing, like the Washington Bullets, man, was a team that they were lousy for a long time, right? So by the time that and Jeff Malone notwithstanding, because Jeff Malone is another guy that was underrated, was a beast, right? But when Bernard King came back, everybody thought his career was dead, right? And then he came back with the Bullets and made them relevant. All-star time. And Jordan was number 1 in the league in scoring. Bernard King was number 2. And that was the first time as a Bullets fan growing up, you could say, man, I'm a Bullets fan, right? And then I quickly jumped. Then Jordan came back, and I quickly jumped to the Bulls, and the rest is history. But good job, guys.
Really good job.
We did it. We did it this week. We all got along on this one.
No, I think it was a really well done.
We'll start fighting
and
again next
typically,
week.
your list is always going to be well done. Better bring it if you're going to come at the Guru.
Real quick, that Virginia Squires team that Julius Erving had played on had Julius Erving, George, I think it was George McGinnis, and George Gervin. And he became the Iceman
After
in the
that.
ABA.
Wow.
They were on the same team together in the ABA, and then they all got absorbed into the NBA. So that was some great basketball I got to see as a kid.
Yep.
That's it.
The Memphis
That's it.
Sports Hall of Famer has seen it all. Now on to the highlights, our best dunk, dime, and defensive play, where each week our panel will vote on the best assembled highlights. This week we're judging the best from the past week in the NBA. We will start with the best dunk.
Off the heel, rebound Watford, Edgecombe! It's like he's got a trampoline at all times.
Brenner and Musa Diabate.
Ace Bailey showing off that leaping ability.
Brenner and Musa Diabate.
And Ace Bailey. Jarvis, you're at the top. We'll start with you. Which one's better?
Geez, that's a tough one. The rookie over there on the left doing good.
Both rookies.
I know both of them
Two
are rookies.
rookies.
Ace Bailey with I'll go with Ace Bailey because he gets it off the oop. He did the smart thing. He stayed in the dunker spot, got the pass, and then put it home. And you got a poster out of that. When you get a poster, that's a really good thing.
A lot of length and athleticism in both of those highlights. Stephanie, which one you like better?
I'm going with the first one. I think when you take it yourself through defense and you throw it down that hard, you make a statement. I think that's a little more challenging. The alley-oop is a pretty play, but when you take it by yourself, you're getting it done.
Well, yeah, Edgecombe's been a very important part of a great start as well for Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, man,
Yes.
that backcourt is just dynamic right now. But I got to break this tie, man, and I got to agree with Jarvis on this one. And it's not because anything that Ace Bailey did. It's because the Con Knipple slip and slide at the end.
Man,
the slip and slide
you
right
got the
there.
theatrics
And he
going
tried,
on.
He tried to get out of the scene, but
he
he made
didn't
it
get
worse.
there.
He should have just fell flat and stayed down, right? But then to try to slip and slide and make it seem like it was all one gesture, that made it even more embarrassing right there. So let's go with Ace Bailey.
Well done. I'm going to give it to Ace Bailey off the Con Knipple there, off the slip there. All right, now we're moving on to best dime from the past week in the NBA. Let's see him.
Ball tipped from behind. Sharp saves it. It's up for grabs. Nice lead pass. Tamani.
Carter sets up a screen. Giddey races to the basket. Fires it out. Vucevic the shot.
Okay, so you got Josh Giddey there with a nice pass out to the perimeter. That first one, though, is sort of a save and a dime. Jarvis, we'll start with you since you're at the top. Which one's better?
Oh, we got to go with the first one. I mean, Josh Giddey was great in that last game. I think he had a triple-double. He's been on a triple-double. But that first one, first of all, he's going out of bounds. He doesn't even see where he's throwing it. It's a blind pass, but it's a perfect pass for the layup. And we've seen people do the wraparound kind of pass going out of bounds, which is a great play, but the first one is it for me.
Yes, Stephanie, the first one seems like 2 and 1. Where are you at on these highlights?
Yes. I'm right there and I love defense. So the fact that it was a turnover forced by the defense, he didn't just grab it and save it. He got a bucket out of it. So defense to offense is my favorite thing, and a great pass going out of bounds.
Michael, is it unanimous?
No, it's not going to be unanimous, although I'm just going to play hater on here just to go the other way, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Now, Coach Stephanie, I mean, she absolutely knows that, right? She's definitely defensive-minded, right? Yep. So not only do you get to steal and the assist in one fell swoop, right? Impressive. But I got to go with what my guy is doing, Josh Giddey, man, with the Chicago Bulls. And it's more of a bigger picture thing. That was a game-winning assist right there that led to a 3 with 4.3 seconds left.
It did win
so to
the
get
game.
it all the way across the court in a triple-double type performance, to do it in Chicago where people are going crazy, I give it to my man Chicago Bulls right there and Josh Giddey, just to mix it up a little bit.
No, I like the fact that you pointed out where that happened in that game and what it did. Chicago Bulls also off to an impressive start. There's no question about it. Moving on now to best defensive play. Let's take a look at the 2 best from the past week.
Just absolute harassing defense. Kessler up top. Grayson Allen slides it.
Just such a steady person and a player from shoot around to practice to the game, and he never gets rattled, and really impressive.
Okay, so a couple of very athletic plays there. Who is that on the block in the first one? Was trying to make that out in that game at Phoenix there. Blocking that alley-oop layup, very impressive. Jarvo, we'll start with you. Which one's better?
You would start with me. This is almost like 1 and 1A because both of those are great plays. But I'll say coming out of nowhere to get the block from behind is like something that you didn't see coming. And so I'll have to go with number 2 on the right there because, hey, I got a layup. I'm going in. Oh, shit, they blocked the shot. They're going the other way. I'm going to go with the one on the right. And that was a tight game right there at the time. And a block that leads to whatever it leads to is just something that, hey, the fans pay to see.
Stephanie, where are you at on these 2?
I think they're both very good, but I'm going with the first one because I feel like it's mano-a-mano, right? He's going right at him, and he is not scared at all. So he's going to take that chance, and all the great shot blockers know that they risk the chance of being turned into a poster, being dunked on, and that's what makes them such great shot blockers. So I appreciate that play.
Michael?
And I appreciate that, too. This is a tough one right here. They're both close calls, but I'm going to go with the second one right there, only because I think it's P.J. Washington. Had to anticipate the pass was going to happen, right? Because that guy could have pulled up and shot a jumper in transition right there, but he ran right to take away the lob instinctively in that situation and got the block. I think that was P.J. Washington when they played Dallas right there in Mexico City. They played against Detroit. So I'm going to go with the second one right there.
It's also like, you said, don't go in there weak with something. You think you got a weak lob, just throw it there. You better make sure you're getting it up there fast because I'm coming. You never know where I'm coming
2 great defensive plays.
Yes.
But 2 great defensive plays.
Great job by Darnell Brady pulling those together. When we come back, we'll do our weekly spin around the NBA. What's the panel thought of the GOAT, Michael Jordan's weekly segments on the NBC broadcast? And we'll make some bold prediction on the Grizzlies' upcoming stretch of games. This is Grizz Beat.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jefftudham.com.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation. It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites Ja Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Made by Grizz fans for Grizz fans, 191 Collabs presented by Pinnacle brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from local designers. Shop the top-notch collection by M-Town Merch on Friday, November 7th when the Grizzlies take on the Dallas Mavericks at 7 p.m. These limited edition threads are only available in FedEx form on game night starting at 5:30 p.m. Buy your ticket today for access at Ticketmaster.com or visit Grizzlies.com/191Collabs. Again, Grizzlies.com/191Collabs for more info. Welcome back to Grizz Beat. We open our final segment this week with some fill in the blank on the NBA at large. I'll make a statement and our expert panel will fill in the blank. Nice and simple. We'll start here in our trip around the league. The injury most impacting the NBA right now is which one? Jarvis, we'll start with you.
Tyrese Halliburton. He's out with the Indiana Pacers. He popped his Achilles in the Game 7 against Oklahoma City last year in the finals, and he is the one guy that it's like taking Ja off your team. Then all of a sudden your chances kind of go out the window, no matter what else that you do. Of course, they lose my man to in free agency, Miles Turner.
Yeah.
They lose him to free agency, but Halliburton was the straw that stirred their drink. He's hitting the clutch shots at the end. He's getting them. If they're down, it doesn't matter. He figures out a way to get people the ball, and then he can hit them himself. So I'm going to say Tyrese Halliburton. They start out 1-6 without him,
It's been
and
really
that's
tough.
just really, 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 really rough for the Pacers.
Stephanie, for you, which NBA injury is it that's most impacting that team in the NBA?
Kyrie Irving. Because this is a team that we didn't know what we were going to see, right? You get Cooper Flagg, who everyone knows is a very talented player, but you never know how that rookie season will pan out. We have Anthony Davis, who got in the trade when they got Luka Doncic out. Anthony Davis came in, and you all remember what that was like in Dallas. They were getting booed. Everyone was in an uproar, very disappointed. And then you start to see, hey, maybe this can turn into something. Maybe Dallas has their own big three with Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and Cooper Flagg. And maybe they can make a big run because they'll play defense, they'll play unselfish, because those type of players all fit together. Well, we won't know for a while because Kyrie is out. So I think he is going to change the way the league standings will fall once he gets back on the court.
Couldn't agree more. They are missing that point guard right now and haven't been able to get it from anybody else. It's really hurt them defensively, too, at the top of their defense. Michael Wallace, injury most impacting the NBA right now in your mind?
All those are great examples right there. Tyrese Halliburton obviously has taken you from the NBA Finals when he's there to the bottom of the NBA when he's not there.
Yep.
And Kyrie Irving is right. We will never know what this Dallas team is capable of doing until he gets back. But my guy is one from last year too, Jason Tatum. And here's the reason why. All I had to do was see that game between the Celtics and the Utah Jazz in Utah. And Brown got completely destroyed on that foul call at the top of the key. The guy tripped him up, and the whistle didn't blow in the final seconds of that game. Foul was not called, and they end up losing to the Utah Jazz, right? The Boston Celtics. So not only are the Celtics kind of hit and miss, they're also not getting the respect that they normally would get in that situation as a team from the officials. And
hasn't Jaylen Brown earned that respect though?
Jaylen Brown has, but the Celtics overall, everybody just assumed that this is going to be a step back year,
right?
And they're not going to be a candidate for being in strong contention. So I'm gonna go Jason Tatum because I think just his presence completes what Boston can be.
Yep.
I also think the fact that he didn't and they knew he wasn't going to be here this year, they made some moves with that team to weaken that team as well, too,
100%.
front office wise. So his injury impacted this season, that team, probably more so than anything else.
No, there's no question about it. Stephanie, we'll start this next one with you. The most discouraging start from a predicted NBA contender is which one?
I'm going to go with the Indiana Pacers. I know that you guys think that the absence of Tyrese Halliburton is the reason why they're 1-6, and I would agree with that, generally speaking. My concern is larger picture because 1-6 is really bad. Only one win at this point. It's not cause to like burn the house down because you're only 7 games in. But my concern is even if Tyrese Halliburton comes back, is he enough? Because Miles Turner was a huge piece of their success. I think he has been very underrated his entire career. And yes, Tyrese Halliburton, very good, all-star, Olympic gold. We know he's an excellent player. I'm just not sure if he's enough for this Pacers team to still be a contender this season.
Stephanie, you just don't know, or maybe you do, how good it made me feel inside to hear you mention how underrated Miles Turner is.
He's a Miles Turner
The man sitting
fanboy.
over there, Michael Wallace, certainly knows why I loved you
Fanboy.
talking about Miles Turner
Jake
there.
Smooth fanboy.
And
for
then
Miles
Jarvis,
Turner.
yeah, apparently a fan man for Miles Turner.
Okay, if you say so.
Jarvis, you've got the last one here. Most discouraging start from a predicted NBA contender.
Like you say, the Bears, the Clippers. I mean, what else can you say? It's like, gee whiz, the Kawhi situation, all that going on, Steve Ballmer, the owner, and all that business that's going on. What are they, 3-4? They're 3-4. They're a half game above the Grizzlies. They're in 10th spot right now in the standings. It's still early. Anything can happen. They can get all this stuff straight now. But come on now, they got all that talent, Harden, and Kawhi's still out there sometimes. And they got, big center that they had. Zubats.
Yeah.
If it's a Zubats. And they still got their players, but they're not playing well right now. And that's like, I don't know if it's affecting them, all the stuff that's going around, but I'll say it's the Clippers for me.
Michael, I didn't mean to skip you. Contender that's mostly been derailed, or at least that right now you're a little concerned about.
Man, didn't we come into this season talking about how Orlando was positioned to take the next step?
Said they're all
We
in.
talked about this team being a top 4 team now that they traded for Desmond Bane to complete that roster, that he was going to add the three-point shooting that Kentavious Caldwell, Kenny Pope couldn't bring. Well, guess what? After last night, the Orlando Magic is 29th in the league in three-point shooting. 29th out of 30. There's only 30 teams in the NBA.
And they've dropped defensively as well.
They also aren't defending the way they need to. Yeah. They don't have any offensive creativity. I love Jamal Mosley, man. He's one of the most stand-up coaches that we have in this league. But he's going to be under the gun right now to get this thing turned around in this season because that team was supposed to be a top 4 contender in the East, and they just look as lethargic and mediocre as ever.
I tell you what,
right
wasn't
now.
lethargic. Did you see Dez get kicked out last night? Des Bane?
I did. I saw that.
Frustration.
He threw the ball off the guy's forehead, and it's like, yeah, you got to go.
Yeah, that's
total frustration.
Yeah.
No, and they were number 2 in the league in defense last year, if I'm not mistaken.
They were
defensive
they
efficiency.
top
They are
top
not
5 defensive
defending,
team. Yeah.
not defending like that this year. So you're right. I do love Mosley, but he's got some getting them into shape that he's got to do. Michael Jordan, NBA segments on NBC's broadcast have certainly made a lot of news. I'm curious, Michael Wallace, we'll start with you. What have you thought of them?
You know what? I think, and the reason why we're talking about this one is because the Grizzlies have just been announced that next Tuesday's game, 2 weeks from now, their November 18th game against the San Antonio Spurs has been picked up by Peacock and NBC. So that might be the next time.
The Grizzlies will get
the Grizzlies will be in that spotlight game against the Spurs, and that might be the next time the Jordan files get released in terms of his interview. But what I think about him was I think they're captivating, right? I use the word captivating because I didn't say quality. I didn't say informative. I didn't say just mind-boggling. But they're captivating because we're going to pay attention no matter what.
Yeah.
And when Jordan speaks, you have to listen because you just don't know what he's going to say. And he doesn't deserve that at this stage of his career, right? We're looking at him now like we used to look at him when he was driving down the lane and you're just like, uh-oh, what is he going to do?
What's going to happen? Yeah.
Now we're like, okay, what is he going to say? And then you realize he didn't say anything. But you know what? Because he widened his eyes, his bloodshot eyes, and he got his head moving. And,
How you getting on his eyes?
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, dang, Jordan is really saying. I mean, nah, he ain't really saying anything. So captivating.
No, I get it, and I think probably anybody of our age, but maybe any age that respects Mike, but those of us that watched him win all those championships, the man can say anything. We're probably going to be captivated. Love that word. Jarvis, for you, want to make sure I phrase it correctly. Michael's NBA segments on NBC's broadcast are.
I'm gonna say they aight. You know, they
Memphis language there. Yeah,
I like Michael Jordan. I mean, I loved Michael Jordan growing up. You know, my kid had a Jordan jersey. My daughter wore number 23.
I was gonna say you good and grown.
Playing. And so, and we had both the "Come Fly with Me" and what was the other VHS tape back in the day. Yeah. You know, and all that stuff. But it's like, how much you gonna what kind of depth or insight are you gonna get when they shoot these things in the summer?
Right.
That's shot in the summer, and it doesn't really say as anything going on right now.
Yeah.
And what relevance does it? I like the fact that they talk about this and that and the other, and it's like Michael says, the guru over here. If Michael speaks, you will listen. Somebody will listen. I'll listen. I tune in and watch it. They both got their white tennis shoes on that Jay Smooth was wearing the other day. You set the trend, and it's but they just died. You know they okay. All right. It's something, they're trying to come up with something, and it's something that'll get some eyeballs, bloodshot or not.
No, I get it. I mean, and Stephanie Jarvis said, I mean, there is, if you're looking for insight, then that's not necessarily what you're going to get. What have you thought of Jordan's segments on NBC?
One word to describe MJ's NBA segments on NBC broadcast is meh. That's what they are. I'm probably a little jaded, I will admit, because I worked with him for a while. So I've had the opportunity to interview him and to talk with him. And I know a lot of these stories. I know, his philosophy on a lot of things. So maybe I am not as captivated as others might be. But I think, Michael, you bring up an excellent point. He is like that commercial, that E.F. Hutton commercial. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you little young whippersnappers, Google it. E.F. Hutton. When he talks, people listen. That's how Michael Jordan is. He has created that persona for himself over the decades that we've known him to be on the national stage, because he does not talk a lot. He does not sit down for interviews. Even when he was a player, it was rare that you heard from him unless it was Ahmad Rashad holding the microphone on the sideline. So because of that, we all are glued in to listen to what he might say.
There you go. She's not moved by it. She's seen enough of Mike that she doesn't get moved like us fan men.
It's like Mike,
Michael Jordan.
I think was he the one that said, "Hey, look, so and so buys shoes too." He's not going to say anything that's
I remember those days.
Really move the needle one way or the other, and piss off some people that they buy shoes. I'm gonna keep it down the middle. So maybe some people could learn that, right? Like this organization.
That was old MJ. Now let's do some pick and roll, where our panelists pick one of two options and explain why they're going to roll with it. This week's question: more impressive start. Both got off to 5-0 starts. For the Spurs, it was the best in franchise history. Is it the Spurs start or that of the Chicago Bulls? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
I'm going with the Spurs. Because it is the first time they've ever done it in franchise history. And we know the lore of the San Antonio Spurs history. They've won 5 NBA championships. They've had more than a handful of Hall of Famers. They have household names on those rosters in years past. And I was actually very surprised to find out that this is the first time they started out 5-0. So to me, that is very impressive.
Same boat, Stephanie, as you. Could not believe that this is their first 5-0 start with everything they've done within that franchise, all those championships. Jarvo, which one's been more impressive?
Well, plus you're a Bulls fan, but I'm going to say it's the Bulls.
You're going to say it's my Bulls?
I'm going to say it's your Bulls. Okay. Because the Bulls, everybody was expecting San Antonio to be good.
Now,
but
that is
nobody was expecting the Bulls to be this good right now. Josh Giddey is just playing like crazy. He's like whipping the ball, as we saw in that one pass, he's had several triple doubles, I think, here, and they're just winning games. And 6-1, I think, to start the year. So I'm going to go with Chicago Bulls.
I like the case that you made. Michael, is he right?
I think he's right. And you know what? I think Stephanie's right too, right? So it's tough, and that's why you got to pick one and roll with it, right? So before I make my pick is the Bulls. Okay. I'm gonna pick the Bulls. But I will say this: I never knew. Like, I've covered all of San Antonio's championship teams. I've been covering the league since their first championship all the way through, right? Like, this is how I date myself. I was an intern when Greg Popovich kicked out Bob Hill and took over his coach.
I did not know that.
I covered that story for the San Antonio Express News. I was on the sports team on the sports desk as an intern in San Antonio covering that. Which that same summer, guys, just as an offshoot, that same summer was also Eddie George's rookie season with the Houston Oilers, and Steve McNair was a second-year quarterback. And they also had their training camp in San Antonio that same summer. Yeah. So I was there for it, right? So that's dating me right there, man. But at any rate, here's why the Bulls are the more impressive of the 5-0 starts. It's because Josh Giddey, he was thrown away 2 years ago by Oklahoma City. They needed to get off of him and get rid of him. He had some controversy, obviously, off the floor, but he was forgotten about. And now Billy Donovan, they wanted to cast him out too. This is the first 5-0 start for the Bulls since 96-97. You know who was playing for the Bulls in 96-97? Jordan, Scotty, Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson, those guys. You can't name 3 Bulls players right now if I gave you Josh Giddey. Name me 2 other Bulls players, right?
Chicago and Bulls.
Vucevic and maybe somebody else, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's impressive. They've come from nowhere. They've come from nowhere to get to this point, and it's not flukish because they just keep doing it. We'll see in 2 more weeks where they are.
Oh, well said. And I think great cases for both. Probably would, after you guys point out, I don't think I expected this from the Bulls. I expected the Spurs to rise, maybe not to this degree.
Yeah.
Bulls, I thought, might still be at the bottom of the East. So certainly been impressed by their start. We'll wrap up this week's edition of the show by taking a look at what's ahead for the Memphis Grizzlies in the week to come. Tonight, we've mentioned it. Obviously, you've got KD and the Rockets in town for a 7 p.m. start. Friday, you've got the Dallas Mavericks. We've mentioned it. Off to a slow start without Kyrie Irving, 2-5 this season. Then on Sunday, yep, it's the defending champs, undefeated. You know what you're up against. 8-0 this season, OKC is. And then you head out on the road for a 4-game road trip, and it starts in difficult fashion at the Knicks on Tuesday, November 11th. Like we said, the schedule's going to turn up, and it really starts tonight with Houston. Let's do this now. We'll do a call your shot. One bold prediction from each of you about this upcoming stretch of games. Jarvis, you're going to start us off. Call your shot, sir.
Well, I don't know how bold it is, but I'm going to say hold on. Just hold on. Get through it. It's going to be all right.
Is this for us or for the team?
This is for the team.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and for the fans, too. Just hold on. Just, you got it coming up. Sometimes you got to take that medicine. You got to go to the bathroom and all the rest of that stuff. Hold on. You'll get through it. There'll be life on the other end. The replacements are coming. Or should I? Yeah, I guess they will be replacements when they get here.
One big one's coming soon.
You got the good ones coming back, and so it's going to be rough. They might steal one. Who knows? If John and Jaren get on the same page. And I think a lot of the Grizzlies' problems here in the last couple of games is they haven't shot well. Ja's been getting people open looks, and the ball just hadn't dropped.
Yep.
So if they shoot well a couple of these games, they might steal a game or two. But it's going to be rough here. I would just say hold on.
Stephanie, you got a bold prediction for us, a shot for us over this next stretch of schedule?
I do. I think that Zach Edey will return to action in these next 4 games. And a couple of reasons why. One, I think reading the tea leaves, you see when he got the assignment down to the G League to make sure he's, getting some practice time. That's always a good sign because you always want to test out to make sure that your body responds well after a full workout, right? Before you actually go into a game. But the second thing is, I think some of the off the court stuff is really pointing towards we need something new to talk about. So if I am running this team, I am going to try my best to get Zach Edey on the floor because now that's an injection of positivity. It is a new piece of news for the news cycle to eat up, and maybe we can leave behind this Ja Morant suspension and ripple effect from that situation.
Excellent. Really, really like that plan, Stephanie. Michael, you've got the last one for us. Call your shot.
I think the Grizzlies get a Texas split, right? So these next 2 games are against the 2 teams, 2 of the 3 teams in the division from Texas. So they got the Houston Rockets tonight, and they got the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. I would, if I had to pick which one they probably had a better chance of winning, it would be Friday, right? Because Dallas is down Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving right now. So I don't know how bold it is to say that they're going to get a Texas split, but they desperately need to get one of these next two. You can't have this losing streak go from 3 to 4 to 4 to 5. And if they don't win Friday, Oklahoma City, they hadn't beaten that team in 15 straight times.
Right.
So then you go on the road for 4 more on a back-to-back in New York and Boston. And then you go to Cleveland after that. And then you come back and play the Spurs, come back and then go play the Spurs. So a win's got to come at some point. It's got to happen in this Texas two-step they got. And I'm hoping it's a Texas split this next 3 days.
I am too, and I'm hoping that Ja Morant can refine that joy. Along that stretch. Might as well find it tonight, starting with the Houston Rockets. That's our show for this week. Want to make sure, thank you, panelists, to you, Stephanie, Michael, obviously all your hard work, Jarvis Greer. Thanks as well to CJ Hurt and our wonderful team here at Grind City Media. Make sure you're locked in to Grind City Media at 6 p.m. for the warm-up show. That'll be followed by the FanDuel Sports Network pregame show at 6:30. Tip at 7 on FanDuel Sports Network, and of course on the Grizzlies Radio Network on 92.9 FM ESPN. For our entire Grizzbeat team, I'm Jason. Keep grinding.
Stay smooth.